In today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about XAU USD. This is gold and a few tips on how I like to trade it. So stick around and we'll get into it right after this. Okay, so a few quick tips on trading gold. Now, gold is a little bit interesting because it's a little different than some of the other currency pairs. Remember that gold is not necessarily a currency, it's more of a commodity, right? So it actually trades a little bit different. Now, one thing I want to say getting into the video here, if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, support what we do. If you're not already a subscriber, I make all sorts of content here about Forex trading and education like that, so it's free. All I ask in return is your support here on the channel. Now, a lot of times when gold gets going, it tends to continue to move in one direction for some time. Now, if I look at the charts here, what you can see, especially if I pull up my fancy notebook here or my sketch pad, what you can see with gold is some interesting trend continuation, right? Here's a trend, a nice pullback, a nice trend, a nice pullback, right? For the most part, what you see on gold is you see nice trends in the market, right? A lot of opportunities here for trend traders. So when talking about gold, when looking to trade gold, my personal approach would be to stick more to the trend following side of things, because a lot of times when gold gets going, like I said, it tends to continue, it tends to push and keep going quite a bit if you look historically. So the next thing to note about trading gold, and this is definitely an important one, is that gold tends to move quite a bit. So when you're trading it on your broker, some brokers will allow you to trade gold, but others will not, kind of dependent on your broker. So make sure you do a quick Google search if you are looking to trade gold. Some brokers allow it, others do not. But when talking about XAU USD, that is gold, right? A lot of times this thing moves actually quite a bit relative to other currency pairs. So you actually want to use smaller positions relative to other currency pairs that you might put on a position, right? You might use 0.10 lots on Euro USD, but you might actually consider using 0.01 lots here on gold, just because it does tend to move quite a bit. There's a lot of volatility when trading gold, and that's something to consider and to be aware of when you're looking to take a trade, because if suddenly you're in a big trade and you don't realize that it was going to be so big, one big loss could really be catastrophic to your account. So definitely important to pay attention to the fact that gold does tend to move a good bit, so you want to be a little bit more careful with your position sizing. In fact, I usually try to stick to 1/10 of the size of what I would usually trade on another currency pair when trading gold, right? So we already talked about the fact that a lot of times trend trading works best on gold from my own experience and from what I see in the charts. You can see a lot of trend side action. Of course, you're going to have times where the price is consolidating, but some of the big run-ups on gold, or in this case, run downs, right? You could have grabbed some of the opportunity there trading with the trend. So gold tends to be one of those things where it can create some really crazy trends and just keep going. In fact, recently we actually talked quite a bit on streams about the move on gold in the last year or so, right? We've had some really strong trend moments or momentum here on the long side looking at XAU USD. You can see if we draw a trend line, you can see very nice structure here on gold. And that's something that we see quite often when talking about gold. You have some really great opportunities for pullback trading when talking about gold, right? You can see we had some impulses, some corrections, impulse correction, and opportunities here on the long side going with the trend at some opportune locations. You can see nice pullbacks onto this trend line where you had some opportunities to potentially get in long, right? Until that changed. But check this out. As soon as it changed, things tended to continue to nicely trend here on XAU USD. In fact, if I draw another trend line here, you can see we're in kind of a nice trend there. We had a couple opportunities to be a trend follower there, right? Some good pullback opportunities and trades to the downside as well. Now we are seeing currently a break of that structure, so we might see that a new trend may form again, right? Some opportunities there. When trading gold, you can see quite a bit of the time, usually they say that markets only trend about 30% of the time, but with gold, it seems that you have a little bit more of the trend side action, especially in the last few years. You can see some really nice trends forming there. A lot of times on my videos, I talk about using the right strategy for the right currency pair, or in this case, commodity, right? So one of the things to pay attention to is the fact that gold does trend quite a bit. So that does give you an opportunity to try and be a trend trader when talking about gold. I personally don't like to try and do mean reversion or reversal strategies too much on gold, just because it tends to have some really crazy moves up or down. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. I know it was kind of a quick video on XAU USD. If it was helpful to you, make sure you click that like button. I would really appreciate your support, and any videos that get a lot of likes, I usually try to mimic for the future and create more like that. So if this one was helpful to you, make sure you click that like button and support the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope we'll see you on the next one.